Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to address the International Peace and Security Symposium. Let me express my gratitude to the Joint Staff College of the Ministry of Defense of Japan for organizing this important event. I am particularly honored to speak to you at the 30-year anniversary of Japan's first deployment to United Nations peacekeeping operations, at a critical time when geostrategic shifts and a rapidly evolving global landscape requires us to prepare for a new era of maintaining and sustaining peace. Since the Act on Cooperation with United Nations peacekeeping operations was passed in 1992, Japan has contributed to international peace and security through the deployment of more than 12,500 brave women and men to 28 missions across the world. I would like to remember their sacrifices and thank them for their service. Japan's commitment to delivering high-quality training and capacity-building support to UN troop-contributing countries has added to Japan's excellent reputation in the peacekeeping field. Through its renowned UN Triangular Partnership Program, Japan contributes funding and trainers to enhance the engineering, medical, and other capabilities of thousands of trainees. Many of them are currently serving in our most challenging missions in the Central African Republic, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, and South Sudan. Ladies and gentlemen, in the past decade, UN peacekeeping has recognized the complex, multidimensional issues that were associated with the challenging context peacekeeping missions operate in. In response, UN peacekeeping has recognized the fundamental principle of national ownership, helped build national capacities to respond to these challenges, and moved towards more integrated mission setups to be able to properly address the multiplicity of challenges in a cohesive manner while fulfilling its core mandate to protect civilians. Since I started my UN career, I have seen the landscape in which our peacekeepers operate evolve and shift as conflicts became more complex. Today, UN peacekeeping finds itself in a deteriorating political and security environment characterized by increased attacks against peacekeepers and growing restrictions against their movement, coupled with trends of disinformation and misinformation, as well as significant capacity and resource challenges. The COVID-19 pandemic has also taken a heavy toll. As a result, we are again at the turning point for UN peace operations. In such an environment, it is important that the UN plans to improve the effectiveness of peace operations while adapting the ways and means through which it supports international peace and security, with an increased focus on building and sustaining peace to reinforce the sustainability of peacekeeping and support the Sustainable Development Agenda. The support of key member states like Japan will be critical in this process. Ladies and gentlemen, turning to the ongoing war in Ukraine, I would first like to recognize Japan's valuable support to the UN through its provision of humanitarian supplies and dispatch of self-defense force aircraft to bring materials to Ukraine and its neighboring countries. As the war has further exacerbated geopolitical tensions, and as High Representative for Disarmament Affairs, I need to voice my concern about the worsening rhetoric and heightened risk of use of nuclear weapons. While the 10th Review Conference of the Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons was taking place in New York this year, the UN Secretary General visited Hiroshima. He stressed that the world must never forget what happened there, As citizens of the only country to have suffered atomic bombings in war, the young people of Japan hold a special role and responsibility in continuing the work of the hibakusha and ensuring that such a devastation never happens again anywhere. The escalating conflicts in Ukraine and beyond are not taking place in a vacuum. Political polarization, pandemics, increasing poverty and inequalities are all interlinked and mutually reinforcing. Adding to these crises is the climate emergency. Our planet is fast approaching a tipping point that will make climate chaos irreversible. The world's wealthier countries, in solidarity with the rest of the world, need to invest financially to meet our climate targets, reduce emissions, and implement the Sustainable Development Goals. The world doesn't lack financial resources. For example, last year, global military expenditures continued to rise to more than $2 trillion. We must remember that our common security is broader than what the military can protect. Japan has always promoted the concept of human security, which reinforces and complements traditional national or territorial security. And a human-centered approach is a major commitment of the UN Secretary General, as emphasized in his Common Agenda and his forthcoming New Agenda for Peace, where he calls for a new vision for disarmament to guarantee human, national, and collective security. This new Agenda for Peace is an opportunity to consider how to build on the great gains in disarmament and non-proliferation and adopt measures to reduce existential risks while crafting a new approach to international security cooperation. It could act as a vehicle for the revitalization of existing and development of new transparency and confidence-building measures, which remain underutilized. And it could seek to ensure that disarmament and arms control take their rightful place as a pillar of the international peace and security architecture, and as a key accelerator for achieving sustainable development. And it will be a critical opportunity to craft a new approach to peace operations and peace-building efforts that are fit for purpose in our new post-Cold War era. Only together can we take the next steps for revitalized peace operations in solidarity with and all for people. I thank you very much for your attention.